and tonight he will be talking on leadership, on the topic of leadership level. And he put three questions here. What kind of leader are you? What level are you on? And what level do you want to achieve? Please help me welcome him.
Toastmaster, Toastmistress, Toastmistress. That has an interesting ring. Why are you here at Toastmasters? Eric? Floyd? Larissa? All of you, actually. I asked that question. And I suspect the answer goes something like this. You want to sharpen your saw of leadership, of effectiveness, in whatever role that you currently play in a variety of situations. So if we're going to talk about leadership, becoming a better one, what floor you're on, and what you would like to do in the future, I'm going to first describe what good leadership is. My current mentor, Mr. John Maxwell, indicates that leadership is simply one thing: influence. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm going to tell a story about the levels of leadership by singing for you a song from Oklahoma. The wonderful music of the 50s. It goes something like this. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. They've gone about as far as they can go. They got a skyscraper there, 7 stories high. Well, we're going to compare leadership to that skyscraper. We're going to redo the skyscraper, though. This leadership skyscraper only has 5 floors, but it also has a basement. Now, Clint Eastwood's movie entitled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Don't look at me.
Indicates leadership to me. I'm going to share 2 stories from my past that indicate how I would reflect it on a great leader and one who is good and ugly. The great leader was my 7th grade trumpet teacher, Robert Panerio in Moses Lake. I fell under his spell and went from last chair to almost first chair, and as you've heard me complain about before, my father moved before I could finish that journey. But he planted in me the seed and the desire to become a high school music teacher someday. The ugly, should be bad and ugly, was when I moved to Niagara Falls, New York. Yeah, this was after the pigeon pooped on my flat top, and I started at this high school of 2,000 students. I did at least have the dream of hoping to be a part of a wonderful band. I knew I was a decent trumpet player. I arrived in the band room, and this was one of the worst groups you could have ever imagined, and the director was so terrible that in the fall we practiced a halftime marching band show. He never got to the end, and he put us out on the field so we could collapse and embarrass ourselves. I'll never forget that. I remember in the spring playing a march, and he would never stop and correct us, and I became so frustrated I started to play in the key of A flat when the march was in G, just to see if he would notice. He promptly kicked me out of class, sent me down to Mrs. Rohrer's office, the vice principal, and she looked at me and said, "What's going on, Mr. McKinney?" I said, "The teacher is inept. I could conduct better than that. And she said, well, Mr. McKinney, what are your goals? I said, well, I'd like to be a high school music teacher someday. She said, wouldn't it look good on your resume if you completed the year in band? So I resumed back to that class and did graduate, thanks to her wisdom. But this was awful. So, two experiences in leadership. One that was great and inspired me to be a director. Another one which was absolutely terrible, and I think maybe inspired me because I knew I could do a pretty good job after having that experience. So, in our development of leadership, what floor are you on? One of those leaders was in the basement, and the other was almost in the pinnacle of our 5-story leadership house. You know what? Each one of us has been on floor 1 of the leadership level. And you know what that floor is called? Position. Now, here's the position you've had as a leader. The first one might be on the day a child was born. Your child, you now have the position of father or mother. Maybe it was your first day on the job and you have a position as busboy, barista, whatever the title was. You had a position. Did that make you a leader? No. It gave you a position. Now, some of us have had extremely inept people with positions, but their leadership was in the basement. So let's go to the second floor of the position level. What's that one? That floor is the floor of connection. That's where people will follow you when you connect. What are the 3 things you must do to connect as a leader? Have any idea? Followers ask you 3 questions. The first question they ask is, how much do you care for me? The second question they're going to ask is, will you help me? And the third question is this: can I trust you? Those are the 3 questions followers ask. And so now you're on the second floor of the leadership level. What's the third floor? I almost have time to maybe not tell you. And here's what will happen. I'm actually doing a long session of leadership to get people to the top floor starting in January. And it's going to be John Marshall's 32 levels of leadership. I'm going to form a mastermind group of 10 to 15 like-minded people in this community that want to be great leaders. If any of you are interested, I'd hope you would join. But you are a leader, whether you want to be or not, because you're a father, a parent, a worker. And why not have us all strive to become leaders that can get up to the 5th floor, which is the pinnacle. And that's a story for another day. And I'm grateful that I had some pinnacle leaders that have inspired me, hopefully, to just give back a little bit. Thank you.